machines of the mind. We are wired into an electronic community, often separated by space, but united by a need for information. Connected at the gateway to a digital frontier.
In the next few moments, we'd like to show you how one company, Corporate Systems Center, has earned a leading-edge position on this frontier and has become a major national source of what this presentation is all about: disk drives.
The disk drive is a crucial component in today's high-performance computing machines. It performs many functions. Minute magnetic particles recording gigabytes of information on high-density, fast-moving media, providing a vast storage bank necessary for modern business and industry. When needed, a computer gets this crucial information quickly, as fast as 50 million bits a second. Today, CSC provides reliable, high-capacity drives at competitive prices for thousands of dealers and system builders across the country, backed by professional service and technical support. The computer industry has spawned many young entrepreneurs. Martin Bodo, president and founder of CSC, is one of today's leaders in the field of data storage products.
I've always enjoyed working with computers, and I've always been fascinated by disk drives and how they work. Their complexity provides a need for specialized service and support. That's why CSC has become more than just a convenient source for affordable drives. We specialize in disk drives only. That makes us a much more technical company than most distributors. We deliver complete storage solutions.
They get controllers, cables, software, and the support they need to make it work. They get a complete subsystem that's ready to drop in the computer and turn on the switch.
Whether you need a hard drive upgrade for one PC, a complete SCSI solution for your corporate PCs, or an optical disk array for high-speed network storage, CSC is here to help. Our packages provide plug-and-play storage solutions.
The people here at CSC wrote the book on disk drives, and this one, The Hard Drive Bible. In a few minutes, you'll join our disk drive installation workshop. But first, let's look inside a hard drive and see how it really works.
All hard disk drives use the same magnetic recording principle. An electric current produces magnetic fields, which store information. All disk drives spin, seek, read, and write. Disks are organized in concentric rings called cylinders. Each read-write head records a track of data on each cylinder. Hard disk drives are spun by a spindle motor in the center of the disk. Most hard drives rotate at 3,600 RPM, or 60 revolutions per second. One disk revolution takes about 17 milliseconds. The average time a drive waits for a disk to spin is called latency. This MaxStore drive uses a faster spindle motor to reduce rotational latency. Disk drive read-write heads are mounted in the head stack assembly. The heads move together, propelled back and forth by a voice coil actuator. This actuator uses an electromagnet placed near a permanent magnet. Pulses of current from the control electronics attract or repel the electromagnet, which forces the head carriage to move. Using a complicated series of pre-recorded patterns called servo patterns, the drive electronics monitors the position of the head stack assembly. These patterns adjust the head stack position so the heads are placed in the center of each track. A servo writer records the positioning information, which lets the drive place the heads on each track rapidly and accurately. CSC's reputation is firmly based on our new disk drives. With high capacity, high-speed performance, CSC delivers long-term reliability at a low price. We also sell affordable refurbished disk drives. Every one beats factory error specifications by at least 20%. Backed by a warranty of up to 5 years. Testing at CSC meets or surpasses all factory specifications. All our disk drives are burned in for at least 24 hours and tested with genuine factory equipment. Since we specialize in disk drives, we've developed our own line of controller cards tailored to the needs of our customers.
Now that you've had a look around CSC and seen our top quality technical support and service, there are a few precautions to keep in mind before you install your disk drive.
Electronic components in drives can suffer hidden damage from static electricity. A common example of this is the mild shock caused when you walk across a carpet and touch a metal object. But even this relatively mild shock can damage integrated circuits, and long-term reliability may be compromised. Equally important in this work environment is adequate ventilation, because heat is a disk drive's worst enemy. Conductivity mats should also be placed at work areas and on the floor. As an additional safeguard, our technicians always wear conductive wrist straps to guard against static electricity.
At this point, we're ready for some hands-on work. So let's join CSC experts for a workshop on some typical disk drive installations.
We've chosen a Sun Spark station as an example. This Maxtor drive should work well here. We've selected the correct SCSI ID and set it using the jumpers on the drive. The terminators now have to be removed. A bracket supplied by CSC makes installation simple. Since this drive isn't listed in the Sun OS table of drive parameters, it's as simple as looking them up in the hard drive Bible and keying them in. Once the formatting and Unix installation process is finished, we're back up and running. Next, let's add an external tape drive to the Macintosh. This drive is installed in an external case. So the key here is the correct cabling, SCSI termination, and driver software. Once we correctly cable the drive and set the SCSI ID, we're ready to install the software. Our last installation is a typical IBM-compatible 486 machine. It already has one IDE drive installed and a 5¼ floppy disk. But we'd like to improve the disk system performance by upgrading to SCSI, plus add tape backup, CD-ROM, and a 2.8 megabyte floppy. Here we're installing CSC's caching SCSI controller, so we'll be able to connect all our new equipment. Only the last device at the end of the SCSI chain should be terminated. We'll also disable the floppy controller on the IDE card. We'll use the controller on the fast cache card instead, since it does support the newer 2.8 megabyte floppy drives. We don't have a complete backup of the data on the drive, so it's important to leave the IDE card installed and copy our files over. Once a DOS, F-disk, and format is completed, our SCSI drives are ready to boot. To complete the installation, let's just X-copy our files from the old IDE drive to our fast SCSI drive. We can now remove the old IDE drive and controller. We've installed 5 drives using only one slot in the motherboard, and there's still room for external expansion like this Maxtor optical drive. Expandability is just one advantage of the SCSI interface. Just what is SCSI? Well, let's start with a technical description of the SCSI interface. SCSI, S-C-S-I, stands for Small Computer Systems Interface. SCSI was made popular when the Apple Macintosh was first released. Since then, Apple has included it on all of their successful computers, including the new Power PC machines. Workstation companies like Sun, Hewlett-Packard, and Silicon Graphics have included this interface on all their high-performance workstations. Recently, SCSI has become a popular addition to IBM-compatible computers. Since IBM didn't include a standard SCSI interface on their original PCs, an add-on SCSI controller is usually required. The original SCSI standard is called SCSI 1. SCSI 1 provides support for 7 devices and is upwardly compatible with SCSI 2. SCSI 2 devices use a more powerful standardized messaging system than the original SCSI 1 devices. The SCSI 2 specification was standardized by the American National Standards Institute to provide more compatibility between peripherals made by different manufacturers. SCSI 3 is the latest version of the International SCSI Interface Standard. SCSI 3 more accurately defines wide SCSI and the optical fiber channel. Standard SCSI 2 drives transfer data 8 bits at a time, up to a maximum of about 10 megabytes per second. Wide SCSI devices transfer data 16 bits at a time for at least double the performance of standard drives. Here at CSC, we carry a complete line of SCSI controllers and peripherals. Let's look at a few of CSC's product offerings. CSC offers a caching controller which will let you add SCSI 3 performance to your 486 or Pentium workstation. The CSC Fast Cache 3 uses ultra-fast 20 nanosecond cache memory for the maximum sustained performance of up to 26 megabytes per second. If you're upgrading a notebook, there's only one way to add peripherals like CD-ROM and DAT drives with acceptable performance. You need the advantages of the SCSI 2 interface. Now let's see how simple it is to upgrade a notebook with our very fast SCSI 2 controllers. To upgrade, simply insert the controller in the PCMCIA slot. Any notebook with a standard Intel-compatible PCMCIA interface can be easily upgraded using the CSC Fast Cache SCSI 2 controller. ASPI-compliant drivers are added to the config.sys files. Using an ASPI-compliant driver assures compatibility with industry-standard SCSI programs, including tape backup software and CD-ROM drivers. In fact, any SCSI 2 compatible device can be attached to your notebook with the appropriate software driver. Using the PCMCIA interface provides superior performance to parallel port adapters. RAID technology. RAID stands for Redundant Array of Inexpensive Disks. RAID systems use multiple disk drives and combine them into a single data storage unit. By combining multiple drives, significant performance increases can be achieved. Some RAID systems can also be configured for redundant operation. Redundant RAID systems can continue to operate normally even when a disk drive fails. RAID systems are controlled by either hardware or software, and each has its advantages. Software RAID systems are lower cost and provide excellent performance. Hardware RAID systems are more expensive and complex, but using a single SCSI port, they're usually easier to install. At CSC, we carry a complete line of RAID peripherals, from components to complete systems. For more information on RAID, call CSC and ask for our report entitled, "What Will RAID Do for Me?"
As you've seen, CSC's pre-formatting of drives and setup procedures makes drive installation pretty straightforward. But our customers still have a few common installation problems that account for about 80% of tech support questions. So, here's some troubleshooting solutions that should make everybody a little happier.
The SCSI hard drive in this system doesn't spin. Looks like the power is connected okay. Let's check the cable orientation. Seems to be a problem. Often the cable is reversed. The solution? Reverse the cable and replace the blown fuse on the controller card. Then try the system again. There's only one drive connected to this SCSI controller, but when we run the installation program, 7 drives appear. Could the driver jumper be the culprit? The problem is actually a SCSI ID conflict. Both the drive and controller are sharing SCSI ID 7. The solution called for correcting the jumpers and running the installation program again. In this new scenario, we've upgraded from the old IDE controller to our new caching IDE card. But as you can see, we still get a missing operating system message. The solution? Generate a sector override using the CSC fast cache. After making any hardware change, be sure to check your CMOS setup and your extended setup to reconfigure your motherboard.
Problems seeking solutions, constantly evolving technology. Yes, the world of computers is governed by the axiom of change. Corporate Systems Center rides the crest of change in disk systems today. But one thing remains constant: our quality technical service and support.
CSC is your full-service source for high-speed, high-capacity disk drives with long-term reliability. From hard drives, optical drives, and tape drives, to pre-formatted plug-and-play kits with controller cards, all at a low cost to you. Our disk array systems now offer mainframe disk performance for network servers. In response to our customers' requests, CSC opened a factory outlet in the center of Silicon Valley.
Here in a hands-on atmosphere, you can select, examine, and test drive from a large inventory of hardware and software products, all specially value priced.
What really makes it around here is the people. They're the ones with a commitment to make it happen for our customers, getting the orders out and keeping you satisfied 100%. That's our pledge, to offer you the highest quality data storage products, the latest, the best today's technology has to offer, and to back it up with professional service and support as close as your telephone.